Internet, and you are back. If you are indeed watching, it doesn't matter if you are or if you are not. But if you are, we are back on the grind, and I finally renamed this diary because I'm genuinely not trying to encourage people to come watch this. This is sort of being recorded for my own purposes without taking up space on my hard drive. And mentally, I just find the experience of streaming something is really cool. It's very different. Like I keep my head in it way more. I take fewer breaks. I think about what I'm doing in a way that I don't necessarily. We are in hell, and we are one players through. I don't know. Just sometimes I see a drop, and I'm just like, is that a hell drop? And then I'm like, you know what? There's two exceptionals. Oh look, charm. But it was more how quickly Mephisto went down. It just seemed to
Hail to you, champion.
fall like a lawn chair. And normally he's got a little bit of fight in him. Like, if you were solo, self-found, rare only, that's not worthless armor. I mean, it's 47 resist, 30 to life. Like, you're never going to get anything, I'm going to say you're never going to get anything great from armor. To be completely honest, the ubiquity of the uniques in this game, some of the uniques, and rune words as well, being so good and so predictable, and so not even that hard to target farm, like the rune words in particular. Like, you do not have to go through hell without a smoke if you need resistances. You can just farm a smoke. You can do it. You can 100% target farm. It's easier than target farming, I don't know, say Jurial Shell or even a gold skin. Could elude you much longer than just farming those runes. But yeah, it kind of ruins the place of a lot of what used to be sort of intermediary gear. No one is going to wear some rare armor that has hit recovery, try res, plus life, even though that's a beast of armor. Oh, big drop. And okay, this is this little perk stick that I was talking about, the little main. It's not a Kelpie snare, but let me put it this way: if your mercenary was fighting Hell Bale, this is better than this if you actually want your mercenary to do damage, because this will consistently be proccing open wounds. The slow is only a little bit less, but this is such a freaking crippler. I went through a good chunk of the game with this on my mercenary, upgraded it to exceptional. The ED roll on it is so bad. It does get better than 26%, but it goes up to 50% or something. It's genuinely bad. But this I'm holding on to because I like to have it. This is a Bloodtree Stomp, which is great. I got one, but really cool, mid-game hammer for a barbarian. And then we've got the Lidless Wall, which, I've literally got one sitting in my stash because it's the kind of thing that I will, that I'd like to have a spare or two of. I think I've got two now with the one that's currently in my stash, because it's just a mercenary shield for Act. So if anyone's going to be an Act 3 mercenary, they are going to want a Lidless Wall at some point. And you can see that. The old stash is kind of filling up though. Some of that stuff can be thrown away.
What
if
do
I need
you
to make
need?
room for something. But yeah, I think the woe stave is super underrated. Open wounds and crushing blow are so good. Because crushing blow scales with the enemy health, so the tougher the enemy, the more powerful it is. and open move scales with your attack and leg. So the harder the game gets, the better both get. And in combination, so crushing blow gets the blow, open move finishes them off. Your breastplate is best plate.
Hail to you, champion.
Always like to look at the elite bases, the rares. I found some surprisingly nice stuff. A nice little 200 ED hatchet with chance to cast amp damage. Another Arcane Diablo, because I didn't even realize that can get plus 2 air skills, and I'm pretty sure mine has plus 1. Still an extra. There's no way he's going to drop another one. The drop rate on that is so low, it's like...
What do you need?
Way up there with like some of the high runes you can drop. Dual res boots with half freeze duration. They're like on the cusp of glory. If they had run walk and if the cold resist was better. Although firelighting is really what you want, isn't it? It'd be worth trying to hit my next SCR breakpoint on this up point. See if that speeds this one way. I don't know what I would have to take off or put on to hit it. I mean, I wouldn't be willing to take off the armor because that's like 100 MF. So no skin of the bite Manji, but it would basically be whether the 20% from Mage Fist would do it, and I don't know that this would. These are nice. 40 run walk dual res boots, but really low roll. That's the thing where I'm fussed about that. We'll check out this phase later.
What do you need?
Nothing doing. But money in the bank. What when I first started doing these Mephisto runs, I was much lower level. It was a struggle. The mercenary was dying almost every run, so I was having to scrounge for gold. You know, like I don't care about making money on Mephisto runs, but I wanted to like not be losing money at least. Though to be honest, that's probably not the way to do it. The way to do it is probably if your mercenary is dying on Mephisto, just do 10 Mephisto runs, 10 lower Kuras runs. Although, what a drop! Mind blown, amazing. He's preparing himself. He's gathering his strength to drop me something really nice. There's still so many like really attainable items that are just huge upgrades for me. Like a Skulders would be amazing. A perfect Tarnhelm I would consider to be amazing, but you know, obviously a Shaco. Like, they're not hard items to get. Just farm Helm Mephisto, they will drop eventually. You may be like me and you don't get them, but you get other stuff that's like way rarer. That's just how they all rumble sometimes. Now, I'm kind of tempted. Isn't that the Infernal Torch? Or is it Sanders? Oh yeah, Sanders. What a bizarre wand. Freaking melee wand. Anyway.
What do you need?
Now that I have that Azure Wrath, I'm really tempted to just make like a full racist against undead paladin who has like no place in life other than to go kill Pindleskin 8 players over and over and over again. But the game is so stacked in favor of casters that I bet if you just did a Hammerden, because the hammers get bonus against undead as well, or God forbid a Holy Bolt Paladin, you'd probably kill players 8 Pindle faster than, you know, fully pimped out Secret Paladin with the max schematicism and the Sanctuary Order from Azure Wrath on top. But maybe not.
Hail to you, champion.
Because if you had the Sanctuary Aura, then you know Pindle is just trivialized. He can't do anything. He's just bullied into a corner, awaiting death, as all of his undead buddies. So aside from basically that sword, you might need like fire resistance and cold resistance just in case he's like fire or cold enchanted. You don't want to be just like one shot by a cold nova. Isn't he usually like fire enchanted or something? Trying to think like how hard on the MF the paladin is. Like obviously you can't take it.
I can't carry anymore.
This is the Lancer guy. Now if this had open wounds, this would be a freaking, or God forbid crushing blow. This would be such a nice mercenary weapon. Like even with that crappy base damage, wouldn't matter. attack speed and
Good evening.
chipper resistances. Like when I say such a good weapon, I don't, I mean it would get the job done. Be serviceable. But then it's also like things like open wounds just scale so well with level. Like I can put that woe stave on this guy and you'll see it won't make much difference to our runs. Might even.
I'll put that to good use.
Yeah, let's see. I'm genuinely curious now because I want to test my own hypothesis. Because I think a big chunk of why my mercenary isn't dying so much now isn't so much because of gear upgrades. Like there have been incremental gear upgrades. But we settled on the Dural Shell Vamp Gaze combo a while back. I know because I was juggling in other things like, oh, can he do it with a Steel Skull? Put the extra Nef, can I squeeze, am I better off with Black Space for more slow and Lightning Absorb? Yeah, see, the main reason the mercenary is surviving more now is because he just doesn't get hit because his level is high enough. Yeah, he did just fine. So like I say, in fact, I think Mephisto actually went down a little bit quicker, probably because of the open wounds. Because at this level, open wounds does, I mean, I can literally just check. Well, no, I can't check that quickly. But it's something like 300 or 400 damage per second that averages out to like around 1500 damage over the life of it. It's just a constant, bleed. That at high level becomes really quite significant. And the 50% slow versus 70% slow, yeah, the 70% is better, but 50% is still crippling. Arguably, he'll hit the slow more consistently with that because it has some like minus to target's defense and stuff. So when I say that like that is a really good mercenary weapon, not just for Mephisto. I mean, it probably slow isn't easily enough to like completely break. It pretty much breaks Diablo because you just stand next to him. So the only thing you need to worry about on Diablo is Firestorm. And when he's slowed, his casting speed is so slow that he won't even do that many Firestorms before he's dead. And the wind up, the telegraphing, the animation is so long, so obvious. You've just got so much step out of the way. War gauntlets are like Grand Scepter is must handle, which is, I mean, at level 18, amazing. This is Undead Crown, which we've already seen this round, and these are IK, which are, I mean, I think they're fantastic personally, and I think they're slightly underrated.
Hail to you, champion.
Yeah, look how badly he's scored. I want to actually see how much damage.
Thanks.
Like, it's going down. Remember, this is a player's 3 boss, and his health is going down. but the thing to remember is that, like, things like
What do you need?
open wounds are... like, you wouldn't just rely purely on your mercenary with open wounds to kill Hell Bar. But it's like, you can static him down, or you can be bashing him with crushing blow. You know, to get him low, and then that's going to come into his constant sort of drain. You're hitting him with spells, traps, whatever. But yeah, like, the Kelpie Snare is obviously better because it gives you life, and it slows him all, but like, this is still gripping. And this is a normal level you need. That, in both cases, that most then Kelpie Snare, I think they are
Greetings.
genuinely best in slot if you are MFing bosses and you're not using something like the Moat Trick to just completely avoid them. But if you genuinely want your mercenary standing there tanking, dealing with them, the best thing is just to have either of those. Truckload of slow. I would really like to do a Terra Zone, but there just haven't been any good ones. And this is a problem with having a sorceress. It's one of the reasons why I want to start building up some more characters, so it's like, you know, yes, just terrorize, I can take this character out who's good, you know, for that. Realistically, I should be slow on more sorceress. I kind of wanted to do a fire sorceress because I have a Ormus Rogue with max fire damage and this is spiritual. Yeah, which is like, I mean, Skin of the Viper Magi exists, but still, its +1 skills cannot be frozen on armor. It's a cool armor. And that's Wise and Draw. I still want a perfect Wise and Draw for Frost, but I have one that's like 30 something. But yeah, that's a really cool point. The spiritual. I don't like, because it doesn't have the faster cast, does it? No, so it's really is a downgrade from Viper Magi, but I don't know, maybe for a Javazon or something, because you want plus skills, but you want IAS, not cast, and cannot be frozen is so good. It's cool.
Hail to you, champion.
Yeah, I did some reading on the uniques in the game, the normal level uniques, and was thinking that over whether you can finish the game with just normal level uniques on a melee character. And like, of course, you can upgrade.
Thanks.
And yeah, like I really think you get your resistances sorted with reward and stinky drop. So we might go for some Endar. I'll see if we can provoke a little jealousy, just like we did last time.
What do you need?
But yeah, resistances from the ward and gold skin. What am I doing? You have the axe. I forget what it's called. The Nasha. It has oak wounds and crushing blow. You get some more crushing blow from gold. So Blood Fist for IAS. And Night Smoke for a little bit more resistance. Sneakily grab that. Though that was my drop, was a freaking full juice. What the hell? I'm really not a fan of Andariel.
Hello.
Maybe when she's terrorized.
Yes?
But I'm still not 100%. Is the meta, like, not too... Like, would you not run the Terra Zones in Nightmare?
I need mana.
Oh, Christ, no. It's so safe to... It's relatively safe to teleport through. At this level, on Players 3, with a little bit of cast rate. It's very rare to get punished. And yeah, he has the save at the moment, which is... Actually, hold on. Because it has hit Knight's Eyes, doesn't it? Is that what it's doing? Yeah. So he blinded Andariel. That's why she just stood there like that.
Not enough mana.
So he said,
Thanks.
It's okay if I don't teleport right now. Look, she's still slow. So crippling. Okay, unique ring, thank you. I'll take it. And I'll do a meth while I'm here. I think.
Stay a while and listen.
Hello.
No, that's right. We have a good waypoint here. Because I was going to say I think it's faster to just save and reload, but
Greetings.
a Manals and a terrible Manals at that. To hell with you, Andariel. Nah. Red jewelry drops always feel great.
Greetings.
I'm just having bad luck with my mercenary now. But that's fine. I should switch his weapon back, but I don't know, I kind of feel like I'll leave it on this just as a continued demonstration. But obviously, it's not as good as the Kelpie Snare. Partly because it just doesn't do as much damage. Therefore, they don't leech back very much. Like they're much more reliant on potions.
My brothers have escaped you.
And one of the things I do want to do about to that end is actually upgrade the Kelpie stuff. I do not know enough about assassin gears to have a clue what this is. I think it's the ethereal one, isn't it? Yeah. The chance to cast Frost Nova, that's just CC, which is really good, don't get me wrong. The ED plus ethereal is decent, minus target's defense is good. Freeze target's kind of redundant when you're pooping out Frost Novas constantly, but I mean, 14th mana after each kill is pretty good. I think I already have one of these, but Assassin's dual wield, so though
What
it kind of
do
makes
you
me
need?
sad looking at anything assassin related that like isn't mosaic, unless it's for a trap zone, obviously, because mosaic is just so busted. And surprisingly accessible. It's not like you need a freaking slot with it or something. Yeah, look at him, he holds up. Like he was dying every now and then. Cold steel. I have one of these that's ethereal, but I really want like a perfect cold steel eye. It goes up to 250 ED as a candidate for cubing up to an elite base. It does not look like a super strong weapon because that's such a weak base for the exceptional, but like just look at those mods. They are busted ass mods. 20 IAS on one of the fastest base weapons in the game. Up to 250 ED on an elite base, that's enough. That's all you need. 6% mana stolen per hit. Who doesn't love mana leech? 50% deadly strike. That's freaking huge. Hit blinds target, really crippling debuff, and slows target by 30%, even more crippling debuff. Like, this thing will do work. And you can chuck one on a barbarian mercenary, the frenzy merc, and they just go to town, slowing everything. But it's kind of hard to compete with this bad boy. Mind you, I don't know, because it's a plus to max damage based on character level. This does have the slow though. I think one of each of these would be really nice. But yeah, you can get an ethereal cold steel eye for the mercenary and upgrade that. I've got one. It doesn't have the best ED roll. And then I think it's like close to being best in slot weapon to kill bosses for the barbarian mercenary, but of course you would want the other weapon to have a crushing blow. But that's easy to get. Actually, is it that easy to get? This, like the short sword, the unique short sword has crushing. There are words. I mean, you could get it from G-Face or something. That's messing with the survival. That sells at least.
What do you need?
Yeah, pretty happy to have that cutlass drop. Though I do kind of consider it a mercenary weapon, but I don't know, one of these days, you know, maybe even just do it with an editor or something just for funsies. I'd love to edit in like a maxed out, you know, like a 244 roll ED on that weapon, cube it up to elite and just throw it on like a single power and see how it goes. Because I genuinely feel like that the kind of, I think the head striker is in some ways the ideal paladin weapon in a weird way. Like if you were to upgrade it to elite, I mean specifically, because like in Nightmare, obviously on the exceptional base, it's gonna tear them to pieces. But and that's a lot of add damage, but it only has a base 100 ED. Chance to cast a level 20 charge bolt on striking. Normally I don't like cast on striking, but when it's 10% and it's a level 20 damage spell, it's not too bad. Who's gonna use that though? Like, I've just never seen a comfortable paladin build that uses two-handed weapons. Maybe some kind of thorns build. And then it's like, you're probably gonna want an obedience for the res. Maybe silence for the plus skilling res. Mercenary's just doing just with the low stave. This is swordback hold. Open wounds. Yeah. Pretty cool. 50% chance.
Greetings.
But the exceptional version of that shield basically just has a 50% chance deadly strike. Which is pretty monstrous. You could combine that with the cutlass for on a paladin or something, just have a guaranteed 100% deadly strike. But you could also just bring head striker and have it guaranteed deadly strike. Still a cool shield. thought they were like raining from Mephisto for a little while there, but they seem to have slowed off a little bit. And Frost, alright. I can't be too annoyed about a Raven Frost because any melee character I play pretty much is gonna want one at some point. Though I do have a decent number of them already. Why is that in there? What is this in there? Why are these in there? The cube is such a freaking mess. Almost out of space for runes. No space left in the personal tab. Alright. Well, Mephisto will be inconveniencing me if he drops something good. So, by all means, inconvenience me, please. Give me a +2 skills arcane spell. Assuming mine isn't. I don't remember if it is or isn't. I'm starting to think it isn't, because I know my luck. It's still like a whole grail item for me, and a cool drop. Which would make this like entire week. I also got a Mars. As well as, you know, just other things like wind hammer. I got a bullhorn before I started. Extremes. Which as far as I'm concerned. Which is cool. Yeah, it's crazy like this, and sometimes really bad. This is another one of those weapons that like could definitely upgrade it to the elite base and be very happy with that. Like Deadly Strike, Open Wounds, IAS, good damage buffs, indestructible, it's just nice quality of life. But I've got one on a character who's using it and one on a mule. They're not that rare.
What do you need?
The head strikers seem to be more rare, but the numbers, if you look at drop tables, don't agree. Part of it is just experiential, I guess. Some people are naturally going to see more drops of certain things and fewer drops of other things. You know, that's just the way the loot cookie crumbles. There's probably someone out there who desperately wants a wizard's flag and still hasn't gotten one. I think I've gotten 4 or 5. Though I also kind of wonder about wizard's flag. Like, it looks like such a good little item, but then it's like, who would honestly use it? Like maybe a poison dagger, or a poison necro who just wants the option of being able to use those guys. Hold on a second, I haven't maxed anyway for synergy. Do poison necros care that much about casting? Tear Haunch. So Tear Haunch were another one of those ones that I thought like, oh, they drop all the freaking time because I had, you know, lots of them drop, and then the drops on them just kind of really slowed off. Suddenly I started getting goblin domes over and over and over again. But I do have, you know, one being worn and one spare, so he's gonna have to give me something pretty nice to make me stash it at this point. And there's some stuff in that stash that can just be thrown away. What's the next terrorism? It would be really nice if it was Mephisto. I would take a Lost City. Lost City is kind of like Arizona. You're going to get a Holy Grail. You're going to get, not there, but in like the sewers underneath it. High level area. Decent concentration of mobs and nothing
to you, champion.
This one viewer we have has actually been hanging out for a while now. Hey there. Welcome to the stream. The diary. I'm just literally recording my looting. I think everyone should try it. It's super fun. Grind, something like this. Especially single player, because it's so easy to just hack in items. Just use a hero editor or something. Something in my soul just wants to have that. Wow, he just absolutely laid waste to my mercenary. He's still slow. You see the slow is just not as crippling as Kelly's snare, but it's so
I am over
that
there.
is still cool to see though.
Greetings.
And these Saigons and Rathas or something, I don't know why I picked them up. I think somewhere in my head I was like, oh, sell them, but and Mephisto's being a little bit cheeky, so what I might do is traditional. Mephisto starts getting cheeky. And yeah, the woe stave has proven its point. He's died a few times, but he has
I'll put that to good use.
had some really good runs as well, and it's pretty much the same with McKelpie Stone, you'll see. I think I've proven the point that the woe stave is a really good weapon for bossing. Like at this level, you definitely want to have it upgraded to exceptional if you are still using it. And obviously, even then, it's still not necessarily going to perform as well as the Kelpie Snare.
Impossible.
Well, performs better on Summon because it has the blind. And if you're like desperate for damage, boss damage, you need to like cancel out monster heal and just kind of chip away the open wounds with it. Okay. That's a couple of afflicted. I'm just like constantly trying to reposition and stop now we've kind of approached the back already. How many afflicted just spawned there? That was bonkers. There's still more. That was like just 2 champion packs of afflicted. We need to go back to clear them. Get hosed down, get that curse off.
Good day.
Otherwise, my mercenaries just get popped up. Terrible admission. Can't be so. I think it is. It's the Umbral Disc or something. I would like the Moses Blessed Circle though. That would be really nice.
Good to see you.
I don't know if the Moses has 2 diamonds socketed in it. how does it stack up compared to the ward? The ward is 40 resist all, Moses is like 30, and then 2 sockets.
Greetings.
So it's about the same as a socketed ward. I have no idea if I've reset this instance or not, but I'll do it just to be safe. Terrible terror zones. Ha ha ha. And that's a Ginter's Rip, which is a good terror. I mean, at level 37, it's very fast attacking. It does add a good chunk of magic damage, which is pretty cool. And magic damage is just inherently more valuable than other forms of elemental from what I've seen, because it's just resisted way less. Especially in hell.
What do you need?
And always check the elite base. You know, sometimes I pick up nothing. I just want the runs to go as quickly as possible. Other times I want to be a little bit more leisurely. And, you know, because you have to do whatever you have to do to like incentivize yourself to keep doing it. Like when I do lower Kuras, for example, sometimes all I want to do is open chests, just dance around mobs, bait them out, nip in, get those chests, get out. Other times I'll kill everything that's in my way. I'll even kind of go out and particularly bird packs. Russian everyone. Really well, right? Why not? You might most learn. Adam? This is just the Lance of Sonya guy. Soul Harvest. You know what? A mercenary weapon, you could do worse. If you had to upgrade something, it has open wounds, it has resistance. The ED roll, you know, on an exceptional would be okay in Nightmare. I always try to compare items like that to whatever the most accessible alternative is.
Good day.
And in my experience and from what I've seen... Oh, hold on. Is that... Oh, Blood Maw Den of Evil. Okay. Alright, you know what? Let's go do... Let's try try this Terra Zone out. I don't think there are too many cold immunes. I say I don't think there are many cold immunes. I also forget to give my mercenary a weapon that like genuinely does damage. If that is a socketed berserker axe, that's one of the best
Good
reward
day.
bases in the game. It is, but it's a freaking two-socket berserker axe. Even a 3 would be quite nice.
Hello.
Alright, what did I come back here for? That's right. Get my mercenary weapon. That will actually kill golden moons.
I'll put that to good use.
That ogre axe also seemed to be dropping my cannon. And now it's chill. Yeah, so he'll much better. Actually has damage. I still don't have damage. Maybe this takes a little bit too long. Especially like just zombies everywhere. But they're up. They are boss battles. My body's still. Hold on a moment. A phone call here.
Hello.
Greetings. Greetings.
Greetings.
The Order welcomes you. Hello. Not enough mana. Hail to you, champion.
I also don't know if my microphone was just dead for a long time there, but maybe that's what brought the viewers. Maybe it was dead. People just wanted to hear the groan without hearing me. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not fast. If it was dead, then it's cool that I had these two viewers who seem to have stuck around for a little while. Yeah, obviously. This is really about, you know, trying to make my life entertaining. I'm just on the grind and having a recording my controls on the diary, but also solutions here. Just lure down everything. I don't know how to do it fast. Like I've gotten a method down with like teleports and hydras, except when the hydras do things like that. Oh yeah, she's not switch back, but that's okay. Red. I do feel like Annie just has terrible moves compared to Mephisto, but it's nice to mix it up a little bit. The flawless Amethyst is actually Pretty cool drop for me, because you can roll sockets into stuff and roll caster amulets with amethyst.
Greetings.
Alright, actually, equip this guy properly. So I was doing them with the woe stave just to like demonstrate that it can work, which it can. Ideas. Wasn't having that much hope for that one. Likewise. But yeah, normally this is the
I'll put
weapon that
that
I
to
take
good
him
use.
when we do bossing. This was for the Terror Zone. This is actually like a weapon that does base damage. Kelpie Snares just to kind of boss crippler. Now I can't remember if I reset this instance or not. I should have because there's no portal here, is there? No, okay. I should probably do no, Mephisto then Andy, because Mephisto has the free portal. So it's such a misery thing to worry about. 100 gold on the town portal. It would probably be better to finish in Act 3 to be Act 4, yeah.
My brothers have escaped you.
But I've got a decent waypoint on Act 5,
Thanks.
and he still hasn't, my mercenary still hasn't got a hit in. Once he gets the slow one, Mephisto's so hard. He can still get lucky with his RNG to lock the guy down, but the Merc survives most runs. And I know people do this with Blizzard, but
What
this
do
is
you
just
need?
comfy for me. This is how we did it back in the day, Frozen Orb. When I first started doing this, I did have a Barbarian Mercenary, and he was holding out pretty down. They're really tanky, the Barbarian Mercenaries. Like, they're just chunky boys. And they can put out a lot more damage than the Act 3 Merc, especially you get this crushing blow. You know, I just get in there with the Frenzy, like give them a G-Face or something, like G-Face, Smoke.
My brothers
The two best swords you can get for them, like something with a lot of reach, good attack speed. Get with something like a Cold Steel Eye that has slow target and good damage, then probably two Head Strikers is the one you want. These are janky weapons. I'm not going to do that because I'm always curious about the rares on the elite bases.
Greetings.
So I've had some really interesting rolls on these. Like some of these affixes are quite decent. Like this plus 66 to max damage based on character. Everything else on it's pretty janky, but you know, no luck. Yeah, we'll just go do Andy while we're at it. And yeah, with the zombies on the Bloodmore, I just don't see the point of doing it. But this is why I'm trying to level up a Berserker, but honestly, without an Enigma, there's not much point just sort of taking him to any area, because it's not like you just teleport around. Instantly assassinate the boss, find either one that close, teleport there. You can kind of do that without the Enigma. It's not as fast, it's not as efficient. You know, barbarians run fast, you've got a decent amount of run walk. Mercenary? No.
Thanks.
No. Just like don't like about the Andy runs. It's like I don't know when to like reset them, like anything like that. I always end up scrounging for some like extra mana potions here. My mercenary loves to do stuff like that. Like ignore the gigantic demon that I've just teleported in front of to run over and jab a fallen. I just teleported him like 3 times in a row. I don't know if you saw that. The game just decided that I hadn't, and that he was gonna die. That's fine. This is kind of why I don't do Andariel. The drops suck, and your Merc just dies. It doesn't matter what gear you put on him. I've got Andariel's Visage, and I could put that in Venom Ward. He still just dies. Poison just shits on mercenaries in this game. It absolutely, like, it just renders them null and void.
Yes?
And, you know, you've only got so many gear slots, so you can only address so many problems. Like, being frozen just is a death sentence to your mercenary, so having bad resistances is a death sentence, but, you know, so you get a drill shell, you get resistances, you get them some physical resistance with Worm Skull, you know, blah blah blah. And it, you know, there's like someone's gonna come along that, like Andariel, for example, like you can do physical resistance because she does a lot of physical damage, so you can have your physical resistance against that. I forgot to get my mercenary back. Not a problem. You can shore up all your normal resistances so you don't just get insta-popped by a freaking lightning enchanted. While you're getting to Andariel, you have counter frozen, blah blah blah, and then you just die from frozen. You just don't have any insights the first go. And I've tried, like I've sent him in with just Andariel's Visage and the setup he has now, which is True Light and True Shell and Days to take off the Days with Andariel's Visage on. And then I try either with the Bone Axe for more leech, or with Kelpie Staff for slow. And Dario just kills him if you try to leave him to tank. She just kills
What
him.
do you need?
And that's why I try to teleport him away. Usually it works. I don't know why it was just not letting me do it that run for some reason. But it's fun. It's 50 grand to resurrect him. And this bugs me about Andariel, just how long it takes to get there. And like you can try to roll a good Catacombs map, but because there's 2 floors to roll, it kind of stinks. So the odds of getting a good Catacombs, a good Druids, and a good roll for us, I don't know what they are, but I don't want to fuck with them, basically. Because right now I've got a good Druids, like good enough, definitely good enough for a teleporter, and I've got a really nice lower Kurust, so. I'm running out from the freaking grass and all there. Just want to snipe the shaman and pull back. Hydra's exceptional, and Darrow is just like all that, and the drop is it's just Hell Mephisto with a slightly better chance of dropping jewelry. I think I don't know. I don't know how Andariel got this great reputation. No one ran Andariel back when I used to play this game. It was
The
Mephisto,
Order
and if you weren't
welcomes you.
running Mephisto, you were looking for a Holy Grail on, you know, in the pits, or doing Pindle runs or something. There were no Terror Zones back then. But it's still cool. It's just to vary it up. Like the weird thing for me is like I find when Mephisto goes really dry, I do a couple of runs, and then I come back to Mephisto, and suddenly I'm just like, oh wait, hold on a minute. Mephisto wasn't actually that bad. Mephisto's, I was just having a couple of bad drops. Is that an Oculus? If it is, it's my 3rd, and I'm not even going to complain. Like, I will have, like, there's no way I'm not going to want 3 sorceresses, eventually. And there's no way I'm going to want weapons on them other than the Oculus. Like, I know there are better weapons for, like, damage, like a Shooter's
Hail
Temper and
to
stuff.
you, champion.
I found in a Shooter's Temper on Mephisto, which, bad roll, but still good. It's just like, Oculus has MF, Oculus has resist all. Oculus has enough faster cast rate that just by itself with your MF gear, it makes teleporting, like, you know, quick enough to be good. Quick enough that you can teleport through mobs if you have to, like getting down to the catacomb or something. And like, what are you doing with your sorcerers other than MFing to clear the game? You're not going to clear the game with the Shooter's Temper. I think the level requirement for it is like 70 something. And then there's that Death's Gaze or whatever, the even higher level one that has like negative resistance. I would rather just carry a Thunder Charm and the Oculus. Wow, that was so good. He's fighting my mercenary and he just turns 180 to try and kill me. What a freaking jerk. And then drops nothing. Absolute jerk from the pistol, but still nicer than Andariel. But we'll try another Andariel right
What
now.
do you need?
And I could do some lower Kuras, like mix it all in, but you really do not want, like, I gotta keep messing with the player settings to do, like, to mix the two up. I like to kind of do one or the other, either bosses or lower Kuras. And lower Kuras is kind of making me cry a little bit. It gave me an Own Rune on the first day. It's given me some cool stuff since then, but actually some of the coolest stuff it's given me was like the unique cryptic sword. I think it's called. Yeah, like see, this is like if I was carrying the Blade of Ali Baba or something, I was just dead there. Like that first faster cast breakpoint is so important. Teleport around. Oh, that's cool. Thank you. Yes, I should definitely run out of this now.
I can't carry
This is
anymore.
the Impaler, which is a weapon for like the, I think objectively the worst class in the game, but probably a passable Merc weapon at level 31. Good open wounds, decent enough damage. Ignores target's defense, attack rating, not terrible. But it's clearly meant for Spirazon, and Spirazon is so bad. Like, everything that uses a two-handed weapon in this game is bad. Even if you put a godly two-handed weapon on it, like you can put the best
Good
gear
day.
on a Fury Druid and you know, have a Wind Hammer or an Earth Shifter or something, and like you can go into some of the genuinely harder fights in the game, like Hell, Dragon Ball, and like you'll do it. It's doable, but like you'll feel bullied in a way that you wouldn't if you were playing even just like a melee character with Sword and Shield, but a good equivalent gear. You have a lightsaber, a Storm Shield, a Seal Paladin. Some of these really clean runs where he just base tanks, he doesn't care. That's Moonfall or something? No, I would like the Devil Star, that would be nice. Moonfall, yeah. Not bad, I mean, at level 42, not bad, not bad. Decent chunk of fire damage, the Meteor on striking, like, anything that hits a spell on striking, if it's reasonably consistent, at least Meteor is not a good example, can be very helpful to keep you alive, because it, you know, puts things in hit recovery. Like, even if your AR is insufficient, you're a melee character, you can't hit an entire mob of enemies, but let's say you have a Nova on hit or something, a Frost Nova even better, because it chills, but a overall. Yeah, it just keeps everything nice and staggered. Surprisingly good for survival. The only problem is just living in this game is not good. Like, you have to kill things because the problems start to stack up if you don't do enough damage. And then you start to feel low, and then the game actually starts to like, feel bad. Like, feel like you're being kicked around. That's when you go farm. Grind levels, you get better gear, which you can use like early game both at the same time. That's exceptional. I really want the unique Elite Tomahawk. That thing looks so good.
What do you need?
We'll go. I should have bought a couple of extra mana potions for the trip. For the freaking quest, the journey, the sojourn, the odyssey that is getting to freaking Andariel. So she can drop a, I don't know, a bone snap if I'm lucky, or Manal's heal or something. Like, I've done a decent number of handicrafts even with the net plans. I can tell you who's dropping better jewels. Net has dropped me a Mara's Kaleidoscope and a Hydron Trap and a Cat's Eye and a Seraph's Hymn and a Stone of Jordan. No, I think I got the Stone of Jordan. Multiple Ravencross, War Stars, a couple of Angles. This is such a messy the one falling every single freaking night. Part of that is because she's slow. What is that? Is that Skull Collector? No. At level 28. And level 28. I just can't imagine not wearing a rhyme as a sorceress, or just using any old, like, you know, use a spectral shard or something. But yeah, not bad. Don't know who's going to use Frost Nova, but I like Nova is pretty good for leveling as a sorceress. And then what was that? Faster run. Oh, actually, nice. Oh, okay. Hell yeah. Freaking highlight of that run. I think that was sitting there from Palbon. I think that was sitting there from the Meth run. I'll take a 20 life charm and a 3% run walk. Two nice little charms. Charming drops.
Yes?
If you will pardon the egregious pun. I'm really running out of space, but it's fine. It's not like I've got a million things to put in there. And I always ID rare gloves and rare boots because you can get genuinely amazing rolls on them.
The Order welcomes you.
I've got some pretty nice rare gloves. Sitting in the old mules. And back to the warm, comfortable embrace of Helma Fisto. Peasant crown. Like, hey, I want a Shaco. Come on, it gives me the baby Shaco. I have a baby Shaco, but still a nice drop. Kind of sadly rendered irrelevant by Law being so accessible, but
Greetings.
better than Lord. Well, I don't know. Resistances are so freaking like if you were pushing it into hell, the 30 lightning res on Law is way strong, is way better than anything the Peasant Crown has. But if you're still kicking around in Nightmare and you know you're going to have better stuff for hell, better then the Peasant Crown is great. Run Walk is so good, such quality of life, big chunk of vitality, really nice, even for melee characters. The chunk of energy is not a bad thing either. It's just quality of life. Like you can see, I have some energy. Like, it just makes your game way less suffering. Like being able to actually teleport across the map without having to eat 3 mana potions and then portal back to town. And fair enough if you're playing hardcore or something, literally like every point of value. I get that. But I don't play. At least I don't these days. I have back in the day. Maybe I should try it out.
Hail to you, champion.
Like you have to play so safe. It takes a lot of the fun out of the game, but it also kind of adds a new element of fun, like the precariousness of it. But man, it's brutal when you do a dump and like you're doing something like you've got your hardcore sorcerers up there, like somewhere like where I am now, right? And you're farming Hell Mephisto, and you think you're being so safe. You have good cold and lightning res because it's freaking hardcore. You're not going to farm him with like this bullshit. I mean, 73 lightning res, not that as good, but cold as well. Not even fuck with that unless you have really good res. And he can just like miss teleport or his fanaticism, because his fanaticism Bloodlord's behind him. You didn't see it or whatever. Like, because you get into like a groove when you start doing things like over and over and over again. Like everything gets too familiar, it starts to feel safe. It's all muscle memory. And that's when like something just kind of like you just get whomped. You just get magic bulleted from the grassy knoll. I've had it happen even on here where I've been, holy shit, he just one-shotted me. That's because my resistances kind of suck, and that ice ball can just straight up. Even his lightning could one-shot me earlier. I don't know where I got the lightning res. I think it might be an amulet or something.
Good day.
Yeah, even Mephisto, safe, comfy, you've got a good Merc who tanks, he can just ruin your freaking day and kill you. And that's to say nothing of like, you just randomly teleported into a group of fanaticism blunderwars. Hit stunned, critted, dead. And there's your like, all the stuff that you'd been farming, it's all gone. Like whatever you had physically on your character. And then, now you have to get another sorcerer or something and start that method. Which in hardcore, just playing through the base game is no good. But Nightmare is easier than most. If you're trying to play safe. Because normal people can play non-hardcore. It's really easy to get into trouble in Nightmare if you have a more like casual softcore attitude, precisely because you push until you can't push anymore. Like you let the game itself tell you when you've hit your limit by killing you. Like, oh wow, I just hit that lightning enchanted twice and exploded. Because, I have 10 lightning resist in Nightmare or something. I never checked and I never shored them up. I never went and ground to get everything sorted. And that's, that's why But if you prepare for it, and it's easy to prepare for Nightmare. That's right, my mercenary died. It's easy to prepare for Nightmare. It's easy to grind for it. Because just exceptional, even as a melee fighter, just exceptional stuff will easy, even base level uniques and easily accessible rune words and things like that can just give you all the melee damage you need or a decent amount of plus to skills and maximize all your resistances and give you some nice quality of life stuff. Easy to do. Like the boss fights in Nightmare are total AFK. Like if I was playing this character before, that's probably what I would farm Nightmare Mephisto like until I had physically everything Nightmare Mephisto can drop that is good. Because it's so safe and it's so easy that it's like why even take that tiny risk of farming a Mephisto who can kill you until you have everything. Because I'm pretty sure you can get like shit like you can get some pretty crazy stuff from Nightmare Mephisto. I think you can even get a Shaker. But you can definitely get like Skulders. You can get like your Tanis, your Chance Guards, all that sort of basic stuff that's just putting you in the game. You can get Stones of Jordan. I think you can get Maras. I'm not 100% certain. But you can get a lot of your endgame equipment from Nightmare Mephisto. For a melee character, you can get bad gazes, rock stoppers. You can definitely get your real shell. Like the only thing you're not going to get off Nightmare Mephisto basically is like elite grade stuff, and that's most meaningful for see if we can make Mephisto jealous.
What do you need?
Since I had these two viewers, I kind of want to just quickly show you guys the Lower Kuras map I rolled because it is really nice. So why don't I just shunk plays A and go pop a couple of super chests. I also like to just keep the muscle memory as well of like what do I so this is something I do when I'm in Lower Kuras, is I put TK on my right trigger. But yeah, normally I'm this weapon rack, lock chest here. There's usually nothing behind there, but you teleport straight down here. There's the armor rack, which I'm using a couple more, other super chests here. Oh, very cool. Definitely want to take a look at that. Really? Freaking little creature, like. So this is cool because I've got this dropping necro heads pretty consistently. So there's always that chance for getting like a really god plus skill. So this is the problem. I do this stuff like here and now. What do we got here? Revive, Flag Golem, Bone Prison, and this. I do really like plus to like Frost Nova when struck, but yeah, the rest is just. And yeah, so that's the Lower Kuras map. As you can see, it's just for like two campfires, which is for me that's neat. And there are usually some nice boss. I don't know why I'm killing them, but there are usually some nice boss mobs around. And I'll usually kill them when they are birds, because they die super fast and it's just free XP. And they can drop some groovy stuff, like I had I think it's called Frostwind, the unique cryptic sword, the one that gives you like 18 to Arctic Blast, that silly meme thing. Though it has good damage and everything as well. If I had that drop from just like birds in Lower Kuras, I think that would work. But yeah, like so now I've actually got some doing that weapon. Actually got a little bit of muscle memory back. We can just... messed up the angle on that for getting the necro head, so here we go, bird pack. But then, they're so annoying when they take off like that. Bro, just let me go. Hey. normally put the damage stick on my mercenary for this, rather than what he is currently carrying, but he does fine. Oh, is this a... no, not minions. So yeah, that's Lower Kurast. I've gotten some decent stuff from Lower. Like, the only genuinely high rune I've gotten from Lower Kurast is a Om. And I got a Gull. I think that's a high mid. And some other just decent mid runes like Koz and Sir. Is it Sir? No, no. The plus to strength. You know, those ones. So, I'm a big fan of Lower Kurast. Also gotten some like really cool rares, good charms. Oh, I got teleported. And then killed. Okay. Alright. Whatever. Doesn't matter. We just save and exit. So this is the thing, like, I would have gotten past them easily if I didn't have all my MF on. So that's why I don't like mixing Mephisto and Lower Kurast. Like, if I'm going to do Lower Kurast, I stick it out for a little while. Because just the teleport speed, when you hit the better breakpoint, you can just easily go through mobs like that. Even Might Enchanted, they're not going to kill you.
Good day.
Auras are the most, the most dangerous things in Hell, because the radius on them is silly. Like, it's too much. But it's things like that that make the game difficult. Like, some of it I do think is just genuinely, like, it's punishing in a way that's not really punishing, like, but it's just kind of making your life a little bit more miserable. Like, curse duration. Versus you, like, you have to go back to that and get it next time to get it. But you're literally going to be cursed with things. So all it's doing is forcing you to use scroll count and stop having fun for like 15 seconds, and then you go back to town. And this is on players only, but that's maybe it's not okay. I kind of ran through those charge bolts. I dealt with that so badly. But anyway.
Yes.
We get a big player rate drop. It's not any better.
What can I do for you?
In fact, it's significantly worse doing it on player rate because you just kill him less. That's Black Bolt. So I've tried using this on the Mercenary for Mephisto when he was lower level. I feel like that would be a very good item to use against Mephisto. Just my Mercenary's kind of at the point now where he just doesn't die enough against Mephisto for me to worry about it.
Hail to you, champion.
I also don't know if that plus Kelpie Snare is even a meaningful amount of slow. Alright, I'm here, I'm on players 8, I might as well do the Lower Kurast. Amrune and a Flawless Amethyst. Pretty pleased with that. Rare Ogre Maul, it's worth a look, but So if I was seriously, you know, strapping in for a good lower Kuros run, I'd free up a little bit more space in my stash as well. But we're gonna go back to
Hello.
Mephisto now. Like, there are times when all I want to do is open super chests. Just even with 166 ED, that's not terrible. I'm really running out of stash space here. Bink, bink. I need to cube some of this stuff up. Make sure this is those 3 and back on the grind. I still got those 2 views. I really hope you guys are grinding it out with me. To me, that, and I totally recommend, like, start your own YouTube. Unless you, like, just can't stream. Man, the mercenary just got evaporated here. It happened. Took my mercenary's life and he dropped that. It is what it is.
What do you need?
Always nice to check out a red belt. Go do an anti run. So I guess the thing to do if you wanted to like have the whole experience would be to do Mephisto. Probably lower Kuros first. Although to me it feels no faster or slower to not just like sit there after the run. And I like to do the same thing. You know, I like for there to be a certain amount of repetitiveness because then I really get into like a groove and I start doing it. This is my end. Although these guys do occasionally drop good stuff. It's not like killing them is just a chore. They might even get better stuff than me. So, now this is going to be a nice clean run because they're not blocking the hydros. Look how easily it happens. That is like Candace, which is a cool weapon. Maybe best in slot. Ooh, that's close to a perfect ED roll. Maybe I should hold on to that. I don't think that's it. I just let my mercenary die. That's Juanin's, that's a Bill, and that's Hawkmail, which I think is the only way to get Cannot Be Frozen. Oh no, Ice Blink has Cannot Be Frozen as well, doesn't it? I mean, from a normal armor.
Yes?
But yeah,
Good
that Lycander's
day.
is quite a nice little drop. Just because I'm pretty damn certain it is an upgrade on mine. But I don't mind eating this because I definitely have one. The problem is like some of these are just things I want to keep and like stash because I don't like have them yet, but yeah, that's fine. The depth is just a spare because I wanted one to be able to upgrade to exceptional if it cannot be frozen. But let's be real, I'm way past the point in the game where I need to be using deaths.
Hello.
If it cannot be frozen in the late game, I have a couple of spare Duriel shells. I've got plenty of Raven Frosts. This is when I have the most fun and everything, I think, when like my stash starts to fill with stuff that I don't actually want to get rid of. So even a drop that's like not super exciting, but it's just something I can want to do for whatever reason, it's better ED roll. It makes me like but there's one thing I will say for doing Andy runs, you tend to collect potions that you don't necessarily get, and that is the run. That's not really exceptional, and these emeralds I guess I'll just sell them. Coming up on the 2-hour mark here. I think 2 hours I might either just take a break myself, just like get some Pepsi, or I might kill the stream for a little bit. You know,
Greetings.
have something to eat, have a drink, watch a little something, sort out my stash, mule some things off, and then be ready for another grinding session a little bit later, assuming I'm still up. One really nice thing about the stream is it makes me think before I get up. Which sounds silly, but it's like, you know, if I've got some snacks or something and I'm not streaming, I can tell the same in last one. They disappear. I'll get up and get some. And this guy, Mercer is just getting bullied at the moment. That's Storm Spike, and that is Living Ground. Neither of which are good, but still cool to look at.
What do you need?
So there you go, summoning Necro. Item, but for some reason it has Life Leech and damage against undead and attack rating against undead. I don't get that. Like, why don't just get rid of those and give it, I don't know, +2 to skeletons, +2 to skeleton mastery, just actually make it a Necro helmet. And this one is all about the lightning resist. The damage is not terrible. Like, you could do worse. Solar Self found. You know, Zealot or something. It's not going to be great. And like daggers kind of suck to use because they don't have much quality of life. Like their durability is really low and they break fast from what I've seen. Because I've tried using, if you know those barbarian daggers, the ones that have, like they got the rondel. What's it called? They've got a lot of damage. They've got deadly strike. They've got some like they've got good ED, they've got add damage, they've got deadly strike, and they have like +2 find potions and room 4 or find item. They're pretty cool, and I've tried using them on a barbarian with blade mastery, like Rowan or something. So I've tried that on like a whirlwind bar. There's like a meme thing, two of them, and the damage was not terrible. So Diablo is terrorized now, and that always makes me think like,
Hail to you, champion.
hold on, what is the monster level for a Nightmare Terror Zone? Because you can basically, like, if it's terrorized, you can basically run like 8-player Nightmare, Diablo, or Chaos Sanctuary, and still run it faster than hell, but get like equivalent drops to as if you were doing it in hell. But I just don't think the Arcane Sanctuary is good. Like, it's certainly not for this sorceress. The Oblivion Knights are just way too painful to take down, at least on hell. And if I were to go do it on Nightmare now, I'd lose this Druid's map, I'd lose this and I have done it on Nightmare before, and like, if you do it fast, you know what you're doing. Where you just teleport straight to the seal, open the seal, instantly like assassinate the seal guardian, teleport to the next seal, do the same thing. When you get the last seal guardian down, it kills everything in the sanctuary, and then you go static down the rest of it, and then you go static down Diablo and kill it. So you can get it done relatively quick. Nowhere near Hell Mephisto quick, but relatively quick. And it sucks. I've genuinely farmed like a whole Terror Zone, the whole, like, you know, whatever it is, hour-long cycle, doing that, you know, as fast as possible, sitting up, brain melting, and the drops were just garbage. And I think it's just like, the drops are always going to seem bad on a slower run. Because it's like, yes, in theory, they can drop some stuff, like I don't know, doing Hell Bale or Hell Diablo. Yes, in theory, they can drop stuff that Mephisto can't. But when you can run Mephisto 3 to 5 times, maybe even faster, maybe more like 7, 8 times faster, how are they? There's no way they can. And as far as I know, like back in the day, people used to farm Hell Bale and other like really high level stuff like that, mainly for charms because they didn't have Terror Zones. And even places like the Pit, as far as I remember, couldn't drop some of the charms that people were looking for, so they would do Hell Bale and Hell Nilithak. Now, it's really... Yeah, that can have 3 sockets though, can't it? But yeah, people used to do them for charms, but that was all they did them for. Like, if you're looking for Holy Grail level uniques, you know, Tyrell's Might or something like that, then you want to be just farming high level areas. Or, in Reloaded, you want to be farming Terror Zones in Hell. But, the way to do that efficiently, and this is what I'm eventually going to do, is to have different characters that can farm different Terror Zones. Hamilton can farm the Chaos Sanctuary really effectively. Can also farm the Gate really effectively. Berserkers are really good for farming areas like Countess Tower where there's a lot of super uniques and you can double the drops.
Greetings.
Mephisto kind of holding out on us here. We might have to go do an anti-run just to kind of see if we can make him get a little bit jealous, you know? And then he'll be like, I have Shakos. I so want a Shako. I don't know why. I never had a Shako back in the day. I had some really good stuff, but I never had a Shako. said that my holy grail was Arcane Father. I don't even know why. I think it's just because it was the cool armor from Diablo 1. So seeing it come back in Diablo 3, and it's like, to me at least, it seemed to have amazing stats. I do think it was originally stronger. Like it gave you more life and more mercenary baby stuff. Kind of stinky drop. It is what it is. Not like Mephisto dropped anything better. No, I'll do another quick cheeky Andy run. This is like, even this map here though for the rogue is so nice if you're doing Andy runs, because the weakness right there, you just TK it. Always nice to see in Angelics. And yeah, I'll grab a couple of pots. Yeah. But yeah, like little things like that I know there's people out there that, you know, they don't want to just keep rolling until they get a good map, and it's just like, just do it. Like, at least get 2 out of 3. At least have a good Andy and a good lower Caress, or a good lower Caress and a good Durance. And it's even more important if you're not playing Sonic Control. Because the last thing you want to be doing is like hiding boss packs of dolls, just trying to get Mephisto, like, you know, just trying to get the Mephisto. It's too much suffering. You have to roll a good map. And it probably even makes sense if you're like to just target farm on one good map rather than trying to have all of them. But at least 2 I think is good. But like if I was trying to target farm something from first cleansed off. If I was trying to target farm something from Andariel, like let's say I'm at the point where I genuinely feel like Mephisto is a little bit like fished out for me. I've got most of the stuff that he can drop that I want, and I'm just looking for things that I know Andariel is more likely to pay up on. Then I would re-roll that Andariel map and get a really good Catacombs, because you know everything is about how many runs you can do, just keeping that process quick and efficient. But efficient also means, like, you know, not really the Fallen just come out of freaking Narnia now, just to fuck with my Hydras. So I don't like Hydras, but I actually don't like any fire skills that the Sorceress has apart from Fireball. They all suck. The quality of life on them is all garbage. Like, I don't know, maybe Blaze even is better in some ways. Like, I've tried doing Enchant as my fire skill. That was like my second respec, I think, but that was cool. Rare ring. Manals again. Still, could have been an SOJ. But yeah, I've tried specking into like pure enchant, but without synergies, enchant does terrible damage, and it's just there for attack rating. Which is like, maybe now that my mercenary has a better weapon, like getting him to just leech more, and I don't know. I think you need to be able to do damage yourself. But the problem is, like, Firewall sucks. There's so like I had Meteor when I was doing the Chaos Sanctuary, and Meteor is better than Hydra in the sense of damage it does is better, but there are enemy types that it just cannot do anything about, and some of them are some of the most important holding moves, like Oblivion Knights. Oblivion Knights just walk away, like you will not hit them with a nuke, forget it. Like they'll just walk away from Hydras, they don't care. And there will always be another pack of, you know, the normal knights who are firing, just like how the Fallen run front run. Like, Hydras is just terrible, but as I say, so is Meteor. And Firewall is pretty rank as well, although purely for farming Andy, Firewall might be the play.
What do you need?
relies on you to keep your mercenary alive and just hold her in one spot, and it's not going to happen. Maybe at level 90 or something, when your mercenary just straight up out levels her and can avoid being hit a good amount. Maybe. But yeah, I really think Hydras are the only thing that's really good against Andy, because she is quick, she does run around a lot. And you just have to deal with the fact that it sucks. But, as I say, it's the same thing with Meteor sucks, Fireball sucks. The only good fire spell to like spec into your, going like pure Fireball. It's the only one that's like pointing towards damage, where you need it, when you need it. Scales with cast rate. It's just fire kind of sucks in general because so much stuff is into it. Of course, this is a pack of tainted up there with and
Not enough mana.
some like random zombies. See, the only way to make this really clean is to clear the entire level out. And the simple fact is, if you're doing that, it takes so freaking long. I just don't care. That was a nice drop. Lots of hikers, Tandora, Axis. Bone Slayer Blade, racist against undead. It's a decent attack speed and ED, but like, what is this weapon? Who the hell is gonna use this? Like, some of the stuff, man. Like, sure, it's gonna. It's like even against undead. Like, if you're thinking in your head, like, I know, I am going to make a whirlwind barbarian who exists only to kill Pindleskin, and I'm going to give him the most, racist against undead equipment. And there's some stuff in this game that has bonkers damage against undead.
Hello.
It doesn't help. Like, just give them good equipment. It's good. And they'll do better. If you really want to be racist against undead, get Azure Wrath or the Rune Word that gives you the Sanctuary Aura. Because that just cripples them. It just CCs them into irrelevance, as well as giving you a huge chunk of bonus damage. But yeah, a lot of the items in this game are kind of like, what? But I do like that they put in all these like items that I don't know if they really had a clear plan for. And some mad guy out there is like, well, I'm gonna make a crossbow necromancer, so I can use the custom. But at the same time, I do think there's a certain amount of this is cheap. Very good, very, very good affixes apart from the lightning damage. All round on that bad boy. Like, for a normal unique, 100 ED is about as good as it gets. Those are, I wouldn't pick them up. Wish I knew anything, such as life.
Greetings.
But yeah, 100 ED. You're not really going to get much better than that on a normal unique, and it's good enough for normal. Even Nightmare, to be honest, on an exceptional base, 100 is really fine. I've cleared Nightmare with black rune words that I just muled onto the character as like early as I could, from Battle Hammer or something. Just make it black in that, and it just stomps Nightmare. To be honest, black in a legendary mallet would probably do okay. Even if black is strong, 110% ED and like 40% crushing blow. If had some open wounds, even if it had less crushing. Because I really do think that open wounds and crushing blow are kind of like a 1-2 punch. They go together. Oh, yes. Like if your base damage is not good enough to get the job done, then together they will get the job done against anything, unless you're under them. Oh, probably not things like Ubers, because they'll just kill you. Although I'm sure, like, isn't the way to kill Ubers with crushing blow from a smite paladin? Like that's the most
Greetings.
optimal way, and then you use Dracul's Grasp for life tap.
Good day.
So you can essentially leech while smiting. It's something, I don't know, I feel like my brain just blanked on that one. And I can't remember if anything dropped or if there was anything to kind of comment on. Just oh, there was the chieftain, yeah. But I love the fact that the chieftain it feels so disrespectful that more two-handed weapons don't have some resistances, because it's like you're giving up a shield and the damage bonus ain't that good. Like two-handers should do 3 times what one-handers do, considering, because you're giving up 2 layers of defense when you surrender a shield. You're giving up to 75% of physical damage just completely negated, because you just block the shots entirely. Especially good against some of the most lethal stuff in this game, like quill rats and skeleton archers, when they're spawning in on hell and they are there in big numbers and they've got auras and they've got extra strong and they've got this and they've got that. Like, they will just delete you from reality if you don't have some kind of shield. So you're giving up that 75% damage reduction, up to, like on a high level paladin with a good shield that has like block speed and everything else. Like that's the amount of it hits. But even on a barbarian or something, you just got a little bit of dex, you got a good shield that has block chance and block speed. Like just a run in a good base will be mitigating so much damage, and then it's the fact that it's also shields, especially tend to have big resistances, and are one of the more important pieces of equipment. So bad compared to Saigon's. Like Saigon's better block, +1 skills. Bavaric Keep is just like, well, it sorts your fire resistance, I guess. But then again, it's a shield you're going to be using in normal difficulty, and resistances aren't that important in normal difficulty. Anyway. Shields. Like, the harder the game gets, the more serious the content becomes, the more of a stupid meme it is to have a two-handed weapon. Like, the only... I'm trying to think, like, what builds realistically can use a two-handed weapon and not have it feel disgusting. And it's like... Barbarian, maybe a Berserker, like a Howlzerker, like a Pitzerker type thing. But even then, it's just like, why not have a shield? Like, you're using Berserk, it does so much damage that, like, you don't need the extra. But maybe if, like, it's solo self-round and, you found a good mole or made an obedience or something. Obedience is really good, it's also good for boosts. But you don't have a good one, yeah, Imperial Shell, very nice. Then I can definitely see how you might use something like that. But even then, damage is going to be overkill.
What do you
I'd
need?
probably rather have a slower time to kill. The other thing is, a shield can have MF. Like, freaking MF is so good. And I don't think I even have space for this, but then I also know I have a spare, so I'm not going to cry about chucking it out. However, let's see if we can squeeze. Can we? We cannot. Literally out of space for the Duriel shell. The suffering is real. Oh, I get rid of that. But then again, that doesn't actually make the space I need, right? Yes, it does. Yeah, I was mainly holding on to that because it's just like I feel like if you were going to if there's an exceptional sword that you were going to upgrade to elite, it's either going to be this or it's going to be Head Striker. And this one looks weak compared to Head Striker, because it's the base is terrible, but at the elite level, the quality of all the bases kind of evens out way more than it is at exceptional. So if you upgraded both of those to elite, the base damage would be comparable on both of them. In fact, I think the Elegant Blade is better DPS outright because of the massive base attack speed, but it also depends on which class you're using it on. But yeah, 250% ED with slowest target and 50% deadly strike and mana reach is a stupid series of affixes. If you put them on and 20% IOS on already one of the fastest base weapons you can get is a comically powerful set of affixes that it doesn't look particularly strong because the base is so weak. But if you could upgrade that bad boy, you'd see what I mean. Like, there are elite grade weapons that don't have that much ED, or they have around that much ED, and then they just have other really strong affixes, and it has that. It has some of the best affixes in the game. 50% deadly strike is crazy. And another thing to remember is Head Striker is kind of wasted unless it's on a paladin, maybe an enchanted sorceress or something. Like, it's wasted on a barbarian because a barbarian will get roughly passive 30 deadly strikes from the monsters, and they don't stack. So as a barbarian, there's kind of no reason to have elite base. Here, of course. Alright, I'll take that and sell it for money. Man, Mephisto just really holding out on us tonight. Like, no, he dropped a vamp gaze.
What do you need?
He's dropped some stuff. Let's go to an anti-run, see if we can make him jealous. Just past the 2-hour mark, so might be time for a break. Someone just gave me a new mouse, which is really cool, because I like my mouse with the scroll wheels broken on it, and I use the scroll wheel when I'm doing like C-type applications. It doesn't matter otherwise, so I don't really need the scroll wheel for gaming, but I also swapping between like gaming mouse and office mouse. Honestly, my same. One of them dropped Steel Flash. Pretty good shield for a paladin, like even into Nightmare, I think. Although the base Kite Shield has really bad block chance. But with Blessed Shield. Holy Shield, sorry. You probably do alright. This gaming mouse feels really ergonomic. I wonder if it comes with any software. It also has a lot more buttons, which is freaking cool. I don't know if it's a good brand or anything.
Not here.
But the mouse I use is for games where I need to aim.
Good to see you.
It's for like Dark Tide or I don't know, Rivals, Overwatch,
Yes?
stuff like that, which I barely play anymore. Wait. Oh no way! I just went back on Nightmare, so I just rinsed my maps. That was such a brain fart moment. That's fine though. I'll just re-roll the maps in my own time. It's not that hard to get a good Durance and a good lower Karust. So actually, you know what I can do now? I can quickly do a Chaos Sanctuary. The territory. But yeah, so when I say like you do it fast as a sorceress, like there is zero fucking around. You go straight to the scenes. If the game will let me, I'll pop them with TK, but apparently it's just not going to let me do that. But these guys, especially on place, so you can't do this unless you're grossly overleveled and overpowered for the area. So there's no way you would be able, like I'd be able to do this on hell. Because you genuinely, you don't have to make this stop. Just teleport straight. Vortices can actually kill you less. The analysis is so strong. Coupled with
Thanks.
Juby. Any chance for mana potion? Thank you. I should cleanse off the amp damage. This is what I mean when I say like even doing it this way, it's slow. And the drops are not. Watching drops are absolutely just yeah, see, you just pop everyone. And if there's at least like 1 or 2 mana potions here, that would be really nice, so I could not have to go back down.
Death can save you from me.
And Diablo himself is like so non-threatening. Just stand here and tank. Mercenary slows him with nothing. You're not in good personal range, which kind of sucks. You know, look what he does. That's what sense. But as far as I understand it, Hell Diablo can drop.
Greetings.
Sorry, not Hell Diablo. Nightmare. Like in a Terra Zone, it's pretty much the equivalent of farming Hell Diablo. I didn't actually switch it back up to players 8, like before I got to Diablo itself, which I can do because Diablo's always but this is pretty cool. Go do a little bit. Of course, they freaking damage me on my way. Hopefully, there's no corner I can just. It's so easy when you're over level for the content. You just
Hail to you, champion.
you just start flinging spells and make space if you need it. But you try doing this in Hell, you can't do it. Probably with a really kitted out Hamadin with an Indian. then it's also like
Not enough mana.
part of the reason for running the Chaos Sanctuary with the Hammerden is to kill it, like, and kill it quickly. Like, it's not about rushing the Diablo drop. And damage. So annoying. And something actually just hit quite hard. Oh. Okay, that was unintentional. There's no way I'm gonna be able to pop that seal. Even if I click it, the game's just not gonna acknowledge my target hit. It's gonna have me target something else. There we go, we got it. And I've got enough mana potions. That's cool.
Not even death can
So you can do this relatively quick with the sorceress. Being able to static away like most of the health in that area. So I've got to play it. Just kind of around a little bit here before I take a break. I'm gonna have to re-roll my endurance map off screen, which honestly doesn't bother me. Re-rolling another good Lore Cuirass is really easy.
Greetings.
And getting another good Durance isn't hard. Like, you know, sorceresses play a different game, so a good Durance map for a sorceress is fairly easy to roll. Like, anything that's like 2 or 3 teleports to the exit is good enough. I'm still a bit
The
annoyed.
Order
that
welcomes you.
I don't even understand why I did it. It was literally just a fat finger moment while my brain was not working, and then I just loaded back into hell for some reason. Alright, you know what, maybe I'll... So I already get the feeling this is not going to be an endurance map, because... Unless there's like a little crack I can port to over here, no. Yeah, this is already not a good Durance map. Alright, that's fine. I'll just go back to Nightmare. I'll do the Chaos Sanctuary another turn or two. But yeah, super frustrating when I did that. But also not a big deal.
Hello.
I like to change out my gear when I'm actually scouting maps, rather than being in all the MF gear, because you can teleport around so much faster. But yeah, it does my head in that even when you cheese it like this, it's kind of still... Venom Ward. But see, that's the thing when you're doing with a paladin. Like, you kill everything in here, and you kill it fast. The drop get a lot of good stuff just from these minions and boss packs and stuff. You wouldn't drop a mana potion. Damn, I keep forgetting these guys are high enough level to not just be like complete joke babies. Just wanted to make sure I have a seal. This guy dies. Is he really down there, like hiding in the corner? Oh, that's cool. One more mana potion, please, game.
Not even death can save you from me.
I'll do it. Lost an armor, tempting me with the possible spells. See, like, there are things that it's easier to farm on Nightmare, like a Skuldus, for example. I'm pretty sure that has a better drop chance from Nightmare Mephisto than
What
it
do
does
you
from
need?
Hell Mephisto. Let's make space. Actually, hold on. Since I'm doing this, let's throw some mana potions in there to. How dense was that entrance? Space here. I might go do the Infector of Souls second, even though it's technically harder than Deceased, just because I can be sure that I have all the seals open when I kill Deceased. The seals way less likely to just swarming the gang. Swarming with the gang swarms is what I wanted to see. Been through this, and I can speak This is Nightmare as opposed to the other level. Still, cool to see. Yeah, I think it was way cleaner to do it that way. Oh, hold on. Maybe I can just quickly and cheekily get us a play as a Diablo before he spawns. Or have I not hit a seal? That would be so annoying, because I definitely have quick point. No, you see it. This is not a joke. Yeah. It's definitely so I love how the lightning just goes straight over the head. And
I am overburdened.
not a bad drop, but it's the kind of thing you can easily get from Mephisto, so it still kind of feels a little bit like, why did I run around that. Should just save and exit. But whatever. It would be nice to get at least something cool from the Terror Zone before.
Hail to you, champion.
Putting it into the stream. I don't want to mess around with my stash right now. And I think this will be my last round. Then I need to go scout another Drune's map, another lower class. It's just funny because like I was talking about how like I would never reroll these maps. And that was the plan. But it's not like I would never reroll them because getting them was like it's not like that. It's just that I hate teleporting around the Drunes. It's just my bad having a Drune's map. Extra blast, they just instantly come in as well. So, but it's fine. I don't need to pop, that's why. If you would be so good, drop me a couple of mana potions. Just one or two. Freaking jokes. Just a couple. Just a lot of mana killing. Polite. So resistant to static. Mana please, Juvie. I'm fighting Diablo with that damage, but... Oh, this was already on Player's 8. Not even that difficult to just go through the
Not
Sanctuary
even
on Player's 8.
death can save you from me.
But this guy is way tankier on Player's 8. A lot more, just I could use an entire kit quickly rather than just pressing the button. One more time. I'm coming up to the 2-hour 40 mark.
What do you need?
Content to do one more run. And no funny business. If he doesn't drop anything good, that's fine. I want to smoke. I want to get some food. It's so addictive once you get into the runs if you have the time. see, I'm TKing the seal, but there's an enemy in the way, so it just doesn't work. I yeah, decent little fight. Get out of here. Ugh, decrepify. But
Not even death can
the game would be like boring if the enemies had nothing to mess with me. I don't know how many runs I've done. Certainly not enough to say, oh, it's just terrible. But the best thing I've gotten thus far is an Ire rune. Not particularly wonderful. You know what, I'll do one more. I'm such a freaking addict when it comes to this. I don't even know if I have... Okay, I have one.
Hail to you, champion.
You know what, I'll sell that, I don't care. I just want to get this done quick. Alright, one more. Come on, Diablo, drop me stuff. Like, I'm farming you, I could be farming you on the terrace. Realistically, farming the Arcane Sanctuary in Hell with Cold Sorceress is going to be about as fun as, I don't know, pounding names. Oblivion Knights are cold immune, and every fire skill is trash unless you are a fire sorceress and have lots of synergies and fireballs. Just like Hydra just doesn't. They just run away, and Doom Knights come and stand in front of it, and the stupid Hydra shoot the Doom Knights. You might as well just frozen all the Doom Knights. Like, the bottom line is, until all the Doom Knights are dead, you're not killing them. Like, even cold fire. Like, you're not going to snipe them from the back lines the way you want to. So your mercenary's going to constantly be getting harder. You're constantly going to be trying to avoid demons and having curses on you, and it's just not going to be a good time. And even when you kill Doom Knights, even when they're dead, like trying to kill a Livylax or Hydra or something. On players 1, it's fine, but, well, even on players 1, it's a bit painful, especially if you're
Not
in there.
even death can save you from me.
Just not very impressive at all, shield. Was my drop for all of that faffing about.
What do you need?
Alright, I'll go one more time because I genuinely am an addict and I have a problem, but... say something, I don't mean like you gotta drop materials miles. I mean like, how about a rock stone? Like, I'd throw it away anyway, but it's just cool to see. How about a nagel ring with a good roll? I don't have a plate. Martin material, just so I can round out the entertainment collection. As far as I know, I heard a charm. You can only do this stuff. Just teleport it as well. Even then, it can be dangerous. Hit stun in this game. Like, it literally yanks your brains out. Kind of have more mana because I am a sorceress.
I need mana.
And nice guy, drop me some mana potions. Diablo. Kick bone prison. Not a very and again, like this bad drops, they're just not good. This is Terra Zone. Players 3. I've done it on Players 8.
Hail to you, champion.
Alright, come on, dude. Give me a drop. Give me something. I don't want the last thing to be whatever it was, Lemon or something. I don't want that to be my memory of this. I'll never come back to this Terra Zone. I've done it once before and it was just as terrible. Whereas, do Nightmare Mephisto as a Terra Zone? Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, okay. Was it really... Wait, no, it's moved to the Arcane Sanctuary. It was definitely... I don't know. Maybe I was just wasting my time doing normal. I am pretty sure that said Terrorize, though, when I got in there, at least initially. But, whatever. We're coming up on the 3-hour mark now, and... I need to check out this mouse and do some things. And then, at some point, get my, well, empty this stash, cube some things up, make some space at some point, and get back into Hell Mephisto, where I belong. See if I've rolled a good Druid's map here. I've already had to teleport too far away from the waypoint as far as I'm concerned. Check the sides here. I know this isn't actually how you explore the Druids. You're supposed to go like down and then... Oh, actually... Oh yeah, look at that. Good Druid's map. Now I need to check my lower Kurast. If I have a good lower Kurast, problem solved. This waypoint does not bode well, but we'll see. could be wrong, but in my experience, I've found that you don't always get 2 campfires. And it kind of sucks. Zoom around. I've yet to find even one fireplace. I'm not very good at exploring where for us. I just kind of go through it. Alright, so there's one. And I've got the wrong key by mistake. That's one. Any chance of another? No, I don't think so. So you got a giant fireplace here, which from what I means you're not going to get a second. Yeah, so that's normally where the second fireplace would be if it was going to be there. At least from my understanding of how this map generates. So that's kind of sucky, but decent endurance. I forgot to reset difficulty. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not doing this now, so thanks to anyone who did check in. Decent drops, can't complain. Things got a little bit unfocused at the end there, but yeah, my heart was
Yes?
in it. Maybe I was trying to make myself stop. That's why I deliberately messed up the good map rolls I had. Trying to subconsciously change my addiction, but it's fine.